Ready, set, go. Yahoo! Actually, my mom bought me a subscription to Match.com. And I was like, that's not happening, Mom, no way. And so my sister was like, try Bumble, like, why not?
I graduated from chiropractic school, but I still had one board to take. So it was a random 2 weeks. I was in Omaha. So I was bored at my dad's house, didn't have much to do, was studying. I figured, hey, why not download Bumble again?
We were sitting at dinner right after my birthday, and it was my brother-in-law and my sister and I. Blake had popped up, and we'd matched with each other. And Aaron was like, he's a chiropractor, like you should totally just message him, because girls have to message first.
Bumble's great because they have to approach you first. It takes all the pressure off of me.
Fast forward, we'd been messaging back and forth for a little while and texting each other, and then he wanted to make sure I wasn't like catfishing him, and he made me add him on Snapchat. And I was in Denver with some friends for spring break, and I didn't have a ride home from the airport.
And I was 100% kidding when I was like, well, hey, if you need a ride from the airport, I'll be around.
And my mom had bailed on me, one of my friends had bailed on me, and so I knew he wasn't working at the time, he was still completing boards.
When it came time for her to land, she actually texted me and was like, hey, so I know we were kidding about that. Any way you could pick me up?
We had still never met. And he was like, you're serious? Like, yeah, I kind of am serious. I really don't have a ride home and I don't want to pay for another Uber. I was like primping on the plane and waiting for him, like so anxious to finally meet him.
As I was getting towards the airport, she texted me, okay, I'm outside, just so you know I'm the girl with the white hair. And instantly I was like, what? What am I getting myself into? Like white hair? Like, what the heck? But whatever.
So I walked out and he picked me up in his
2002 Grand Am I've had since high school, so not a great first impression in terms of a ride, but it worked, it's functional.
And we ended up just hanging out for a little while, and I suggested watching Moana, and that was the first test. Like, let's see how this one goes. We didn't even sit next to each other, I don't think, and he kept like fidgeting.
And that was probably one of the most awkward experiences in my life.
This is not gonna be great. And when he left, I was like, all right, bye, like gave him a hug. Like, we're never talking to each other again.
She said, well, I guess I'll text you. And I was like, in my head, I was like, all right, see you never.
The next day or 2 days later, and I was like, I need to invite him over again. Like, we need to try this again. And we watched a movie with my roommate and her fiance at the time.
And from then it was totally different. It was totally different from the day before. From then we hung out the next 3-4 weeks.
I think I said like, so like, do you want to set today, like March 27th is like the day we started dating? Like, should we put that as our anniversary in our phones? And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. And it was actually like the third day we'd spent time together. We'd just been with his friends and like out bowling with them or something. I think I said like, I really like you. But he said like, I would use a different L word. This is totally normal. Third day of knowing them, he just picked me up at the airport 3 days ago. This is normal. I think we picked an initial wedding date, like that day. It never felt weird, never like, this is really odd. Like, this person's a psycho if he's in love with me. After 3 days, it was never weird. That whole first 6 to 8 weeks was a whirlwind. And then as we moved in together really quickly, and spending that much time with someone, you learn a lot about them. And even like, it wasn't scary. Nothing about that ever frightened me. And just as time went on, so supportive and so wonderful. I just knew it was him from the beginning, the day 3. That was it. I started sending him rings probably in June, and then convinced him to finally go to Borsheim's one day. I was like, we should just go to Bonefish for lunch. And then we're like, maybe stop into Borsheim's. He was just like, okay, Haley, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. I'm like, maybe though, like maybe it will. And kept hinting at him for a long time.
I find myself standing in a jewelry store, standing over this huge case of rings. Oh crap, this is getting real, but it was so exciting. So fast forward to Thanksgiving, we're at my grandparents'. It was super nice outside, and unbeknownst to Haley, my grandpa told me a story earlier that day of how this deer stand grew into the tree.
He was like, put your wine down, like, I want to go for a walk, like, put your wine down. I was like, oh no, he's being very weird. Like, he really wants me to like let me take the wine. He was like, no, you really have to put it down.
In my head, I was like, what are you so excited about? But I was like, whatever. Like, she had a couple glasses of wine. Could have been that, I'm not sure.
Oh my God, maybe this is happening. In my mind, playing out everything, like, what am I gonna say when I come back into the house? Like, and there's a ring on my finger, what am I gonna say? Playing the whole thing out in my head. We go out there and he's like, stops at a tree and like looks up. What are we doing out here? Like, what's going on? And he starts showing me a deer stand that he used to hunt off of and how it had grown into the tree. I literally thought you were about to propose to me and you're showing me a deer stand. Like, this is so embarrassing.
A few days later, I found out why she was so down in the dumps after we started walking back from the deer stand. And I felt really bad because I had no intentions of doing that whatsoever and kind of let her on. But oh well. So it happened pretty fast. I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna go stop in this store and to see what they have to offer for rings. When I originally went into the store just to look, an hour and a half later, I had a ring. I signed the papers and things were getting really official. So I talked to her sister kind of about that. Hey, I bought a ring, but I have no idea how I'm going to propose, so I need some help. So we formed this master plan to go out to dinner downtown.
We made plans to go to dinner with my sister and brother-in-law, and all my other friends had magically been available. Like, none of us had gotten together in a really long time, and they all were totally on board, which I remember kind of thinking was weird. We're driving down, I was running super late, I'm always late, and he wasn't mad about it. Like, this is kind of odd. Like, why is he not mad that I'm late? Like, Haley, you know what time you need to leave. Like, it's time to go. I'm gonna be late for dinner. The reservation was supposed to be at 7. But he wanted to go see the Christmas lights in Jean Leahy Mall. And I was like, well, we're not gonna have time. Like, we're just gonna have to skip the lights. Like, sorry.
Because it was in December, so I wanted to incorporate some kind of Christmas lights, something cool for pictures and that kind of stuff. We parked at a parking garage. I had family lined up to take pictures and hide through trees. I went down there after work to kind of scope out what I was gonna do, walk through the whole process.
And so my sister texted me and said, well, Eric's running late. Like, he's just being stupid. Like, we're not gonna be on time. I accepted that. We were walking through and I'm cold and like, the restaurant's this way, like, can we go? Like, can we hurry this along a little bit? And he's like fumbling around like, I think we need to go back that way. And like, it's this way. I've lived here my whole life. I know where it is.
What do you mean you don't know where upstream is? It's obviously this way. I was like, where are you sure? And I was just stalling awfully just to make sure people could get in the right position to take these pictures.
And he's like being awkward and has his hands in his pockets and he said something to me like, Haley, I need to ask you something.
Everyone always has these really cool things to say and they never work out. So I got down on one knee and she's like, what are you doing? And was like so confused on what. She thought I was kidding.
You're just making fun of me because of the thing I just told you about Thanksgiving. Like, you're just like, let's just go. Come on, stop messing around. And he like got down on one knee, pulled out the box and I was like, are you gonna ask me something? Like, say something.
And I had all these cool things to say and I was just totally frozen. I couldn't say anything at all.
And he was just, all he could like get out was, will you marry me? And I said, of course. And of course, freaking out. And then his dad and Shelly came running down the hill. And then we went and met all of our friends at the Blatt downtown and watched the volleyball game. And the Huskers won that night, the national championship. So like, I totally give myself credit for that. It was perfect. He totally had a whole speech, he said, but it didn't matter. It was perfect.
So some things that drive me insane about Haley is everyone picture a bag of cheese and you just rip off the top to open up, pull the Ziploc bag open, close it, put it back in the fridge. No, Haley does not open a bag of cheese that way. She pulls the tab as far as she can until there is one little fraction of plastic holding this flapping top of the cheese bag and then throws it back in the fridge. So every time I try to go grab a bag of cheese out, which if you know Haley, there's a lot of cheese in our fridge, just saying. And that goes along the same lines with butter, sour cream, yogurt. Never pulls it all the way off just in case the lid's not quite good enough to seal it.
Okay, so when we first met, he was like fidgeting around like a lot, adjusting his pants and like making these weird elbow movements the whole time. Literally thought to myself, like, maybe he has a tic. Like, that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And maybe he's nervous or sweating or something. And then the second time we hung out, like watching Princess and the Frog, he was doing it again, like shifting oddly and like doing these weird hand things. He always explains it as like, my joints are just uncomfortable, Haley, as he's like flipping his wrists around all the time. And it drives me crazy. I'm like, can you just sit still, please, for like 5 minutes?
Every day that Haley comes home, the first thing she does is change into comfortable clothes, which who doesn't? Haley does it in an extra special way where she just literally throws her clothes wherever, puts comfy clothes on, walks away like nothing ever happened. There's a lot of times she'll beat me home from work and there's a sweater over here, there's shoes over there, there's jeans over here, and she acts like, what? What's wrong? Was there a tornado in our bedroom? Like, why is there stuff everywhere? Why is there shoes all over the place? But we're still working on that. So what I love most about Haley is just how passionate she is. She's passionate about being a teacher, being a coach, even simply just being a good person. Haley gives me such a great appreciation for the family around us, the friends around us, and just the little things in life that I always admire from her. She notices everything and just cares so much about everyone. I can't wait to be the biggest Millard North fan out there and support Haley and everything she does. And yes, I'm really excited to continually watching Disney movies over and over and over.
What I love most about Blake is just how dedicated he is to everything, to me and his family. Seeing him, like how much he cares about other people. He's always coming to support me. He makes me feel like I'm one of a kind, and no one's ever made me feel like that before, so I love him a lot.